The Cooperative National League campaign continues with one of the closest derby matches in rugby league as the Dewsbury Rams take on their neighbours from just across the Calder Valley, the Batley Bulldogs. Their last meeting was a fiery affair, one sending off, one man in the sin bin, so this could be a lively one. The Dewsbury Rams desperate to pick up their first win of the season. This is how the table looks at the moment in National League One. Salford City Reds out in front with a 100% record. Then come Halifax, Sheffield, Celtic Crusaders in fourth, Featherstone Rovers 5, Batley Bulldogs make up the 6. Then come Lee Centurions. Dewsbury Rams, our hosts tonight, are down in 8th. Whitehaven 9th. The Widnes Vikings, despite having a 100% record, 3 from 3, still to get off the mark, having been deducted 9 points for going into administration. Well, these are the other fixtures in round 4 coming up this weekend in National League One. Salford City Reds host Widnes Vikings on Friday. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff. Then Halifax against Featherstone, Whitehaven against Celtic Crusaders, and Sheffield Eagles against Lee on Sunday afternoon. And in National League 2, Barrow Raiders against the Blackpool Panthers on a high after their first win in 46 attempts on Friday. On Sunday, Hunslet against Doncaster, Keighley against Oldham, Rochdale against Gateshead, Swinton Lions against the London Scholars, and York City Knights hosts Workington Town, those on Sunday afternoon. Well, this is how the Dewsbury Rams line up. Kane Party back in the side at fullback. Bryn Powell, Chris Langley, Andrew Bostock, Austin Buchanan, Josh Whedon, Dean Lawford back as well. In the forwards, Aaron Trindon, Liam Finn, Dominic Maloney, Martin Robinson, Alex Bretherton and Patrick Walker. And on the bench for the Rams, Luke Haig, Ryan Glynn, Terry Glassy and Jake Wilson. The coach is Andy Kelly. For the Batley Bulldogs, Ian Priest at fullback. Ollie Marnes returns to the club, straight into the side in the wing in place of Jamie Stokes. Kevin King, Danny Morn, Bolo Fagboran, Francis Maloney, Paul Manel. In the forwards, Luke Stenchen, Chris Lythe, Byron Smith, Kevin Crowthers and Tim Spears. Craig Farrell, the captain, at loose forward. On the bench, Ash Lindsay, Anthony Henderson, Mark Toohey and John Simpson. The coach is Gary Thornton. Well, the referee is Gareth Hewer, who was in charge when we last saw these two sides in action in a real thriller at Mount Pleasant, which Batley won 22-20. Let's hope we get similar fireworks here tonight. I've got a funny feeling, Phil, we might just.
I think the one thing we'll get is another exciting game. Already a great atmosphere amongst the crowd here. And when you look at the fact that although Dewsbury haven't won a game this year, the 2 bonus points have been picked up because the defeats have come by 12 points or less. In fact, in 4 of the last 5 games, there's been only 2 points in the game at the end of the match. So we're due for a tense and exciting finish, I'm sure.
Yes, the bonus points experts were at Dewsbury last season, picked up 6 bonus points. They're in possession at the moment. And they do need a big performance here tonight because it has been a disappointing so far this season so far for the Dewsbury Rams. And there's disappointment there as they lose the ball. Aaron Trinder guilty and exasperated Trinder as he just got to his feet to play that ball.
Well, the referee's actually said that it's the hooker, isn't it? Liam Finn, who's knocked on at the play of the ball.
Trinder thought he'd dropped it as well. Well, it was Liam Finn as the culprit in the end. So Andy Kelly's side already showing a few jitters. Played 3, lost 3, although the losing margin, in fact, in the last 4 games, if you include the Northern Rail defeat at Rochdale, is very narrow, just a couple of points apart from 1 game. So they've been close, but not close enough.
He's laid down the challenge, Andy Kelly, talking to me before the game. That to the forwards, he really is asking big games from the forwards. Aaron Trinder, Terry Glassy when he gets off the bench, and Dominic Maloney playing against his uncle in Francis Maloney, who's the Batley number 6.
You saw Gary Thornton there, the Batley coach. He and Andy Kelly were actually teammates at Wakefield in the days of their youth. Now into the coaching game, and this is a good break from Francis Maloney, returning to his former stamping ground. Maloney had 3 years as a Dewsbury Ram. Back in the Batley side tonight, Maloney, and a very valuable player for Gary Thornton's side.
Well, an important pickup here by the second rower. Martin Robinson got down quickly on that ball.
Patrick Walker. Whedon was the link, and that's a high shot, and that's the first penalty of the game. And Maloney, I think, was the culprit, or was it Danny Moore? No, Maloney, says Gareth Hewer, pointing to Maloney. Danny Moore coming away with blood pouring from his lip. And Maloney, in fact, hobbled away from that challenge. So those two coming off second best and penalised as well. And the penalty taking Dewsbury Rams well into Batley territory with Whedon. Whedon, a great ball for Alex Bretherton. Bretherton is tackled just short of the line. The Dewsbury crowd lifting to their side already. Finn. Here is Lawford. Lawford with Austin Buchanan. Buchanan named on the wing for Andy Kelly's side, but playing at full-back. Kana Party on the wing. Finn on the charge with Dominic Maloney, who had an outstanding season last year. That's the 5th tackle. Now, what's the kick like from Finn? Well, it's Lawford. In fact, they're running it, and they could have men out wide. They have got a man out wide. Langley in at the corner. He is. Squeezing in at the corner for Andy Kelly's side. And Chris Langley, well, the odds were on that kick from Lawford. That's his forte, but they ran the ball on the last, and Chris Langley was there on the overlap to squeeze in at the corner.
Well, Dewsbury were given the first real opportunity here with some good field position to attack. It's a high tackle there by the number 6, you see, Francis Maloney, on the Dewsbury side. And with the set of possession, you see by their last tackle, they're actually up and on the try line. And it's wonderful passing across the full width of the pitch to get Dewsbury in at the corner for their first score. Look at the width of the passing there from Lawford. Quickly, he had to reach forward for it, but when he got the ball, Langley did well to get over the line and ground successfully. Important first score for Dewsbury, should add to their confidence.
Well, Chris Langley getting his 10th try of the season already. Phenomenal start to the campaign for Langley, the former Bradford Bull and Giants youngster. Not so young now, Chris Langley. Patrick Walker now with this conversion attempt from way out wide, but he struck that very well indeed. What a great start to the game for the Dewsbury Rams, as Patch Walker lands that one, his 36th success of the season, and the Rams 6-0 up. Langley's try.
You've got to credit Dean Lawford there. He's seen the vision, he looked up, seen how tight Batley were, caught a great ball there out to Bretherton, and just had the speed and skill to go on the outside Langley.
Well, Chris Langley combines his playing career these days with a teaching job in York at York High.
Bill, it's a great bonus when you score within the first 5 minutes of any game, but it's even an added bonus when your side are able to convert from the sideline. That looked like a high tackle, and I think the touch judge has entered the field of play.
The touch judge is on, and already Batley conceding early penalties.
That looks like Mark Toohey, doesn't it, in 17, who's just come on.
On the line.
It does.
Let's get the tackles down. We can't go around his head to bring him to the ground.
So Dewsbury, another penalty. Well, Francis Maloney has gone off. We saw him limping away from that early tackle. Well, he's only just back in the side, Maloney, and already he's off the field, and Toohey is on in his place. So that is a setback for Batley as well. They're down on the scoreboard, and they're missing their most experienced player, Francis Maloney, 34 years of age. And he's off the field, and Dewsbury are on the charge. Again, they're going wide, and they're looking to exploit the anxieties out wide there of this Batley side. Didn't do so that time, but again, they're switching it across the field, and the ball's kept alive. And Fagboren will... Well, that's good work from Bola Fagboren, chasing up that kick and shoving Andrew Bostock into touch. But meanwhile, back in play, the offside against Batley, and they concede another penalty. Third penalty they've conceded, and it's right on their line. And Dewsbury, says Dean Lawford, will go for the 2 points.
What an excellent start from the Dewsbury side. They've had good go forward from several of the forwards. Dominic Maloney, the clear standout player for them at the moment, the number 10. But when they've got to this end of the field, there's been some good variety. They've moved the ball around. There's the attempted kick through the line. And although the ball's kept alive, the referee Garrity has already decided to award the penalty. Batley were offside, and Dewsbury now, via Pat Walker, have an opportunity to take an 8-point lead.
No mistake about that from Patrick Walker, the 22-year-old. And this is exactly the sort of start that Andy Kelly wanted from his side. Probably a little bit anxious after having lost the 3 games. Having lost the 3 games, but they've got the perfect start. Meanwhile, Batley have got problems, not just on the scoreboard, but Maloney off as well. We can get the news on that from Ben.
Maloney only returned for this game after a neck problem. Thankfully, it's not the problem this time. It's, in fact, an injury to the right knee. The medical staff are treating him down the tunnel at the moment. They're very confident he can return in this game, though.
Well, that was the incident. That was where he obviously sustained the knee, involved in that high shot earlier on. And definitely coming off second best. But Terry, we're going to say Dewsbury, this is the start they wanted.
It isn't. It's the start Andy Kelly wanted. Interesting to see that Dewsbury would have thought that he would have took him on in the forwards, but they're playing on the edges. They seem to be getting outside of the third defender from the ruck, who's called the tight C, and looking to play on the edges with people like Dean Lawford and Dominic Maloney running out wide.
It is Maloney in possession just over the halfway line for the Dewsbury Rams. It's been all Rams so far. Not sure if Batley have had their hands on the ball as the little kick goes through from Liam Finn. And Ollie Marnes is back there. Marnes back in the side straight away because Jamie Stokes picked up an injury at Barrow. So Marnes, who's been playing rugby union in Halifax, comes back into the starting lineup. And Batley with a bit of work to do already. Olufagboren in possession and gets the penalty. Lawford all over him. Lawford protesting his innocence and then saying, OK, it's a fair cop, Gov.
Well, it's disappointment now because it had been almost opening 10 minutes was perfect from Dewsbury. They'd been given penalties, they'd had field position, they'd scored points, but now they just take a little bit of the pressure off their opponents. And Batley now have the first chance to have their hands on the ball in their opponent's half.
See Dean Lawford's history there, including Sheffield Eagles, involved in the first ever Super League game when Sheffield Eagles played Paris Saint-Germain on a memorable night at the Charlotte Stadium. Well, this is the Tetley Stadium. This is Cooperative National League 1, and it's Dewsbury against Batley, the heavy woolen derby, and it's the Dewsbury Rams ahead at the moment, but the Batley Bulldogs with their first opportunity really to examine this Dewsbury defence, which hasn't been that strong this season. Now then, can they exploit it this time? Tim Spears is tackled just short of the try line, but this is a good opportunity. Mennell fires the ball up. Oh, that's cunning work. Here is Farrell, little chip kick, he'll chase it himself. And then they concede the penalty, and Stenchen it was.
Well, you can see that the tackle had already been completed. And when they pick up Josh Whedon and throw him back into the in-goal area, that's the second effort that's not allowed. And just when Batley had got themselves into a nice part of the field, again, by giving Dewsbury a penalty and conceding that, they've allowed them to get forward. Here's now Austin Buchanan just wrestling forward, making good metres. Not only does that lift the crowd, Bill, it usually lifts your teammates for the following runs.
Austin Buchanan sent off the last time these two sides met. That was a fairly fiery encounter. Dewsbury again on their right-hand side. Maybe sensing that Ollie Marnes just back in the side will be probably still finding his feet. Great short ball finds Dominic Maloney. It was a little pass from Josh Whedon, the Australian, former Canberra player, Canberra Juniors. Great charge down from Danny Maughan. Maughan has got the rebound. Maughan will get the try. Oh, Maughan celebrates already. And it was Lawford's kick and Danny Maughan. Blood on the lip, but something to celebrate. The rebound falling very kindly into his path, but you have to keep your cool in those situations, as Gary Thornton will no doubt be sending out. 6th try of the season for Danny Maughan then.
We're starting to see a growing amount of pressure on kickers in all levels of rugby league, both in Super League and here in the National League. Danny Maughan made the effort to get up on Lawford, get his hands in front of the kicker, take that risk of the ball being kicked into his midriff or even more painfully lower down, but it bounced favourably for him, off his chest forward, waited patiently for that third bounce. That came up kindly, and he knew he could celebrate before he even got to the line. It's a great comeback from the Batley side. He'd been under pressure for the first 10 minutes with very little ball.
Danny Maughan will enjoy that against his former club, another former Dewsbury man. We've seen charge downs in successive games, actually, because Jamal Fakir did it, of course, for the Catalan Dragons at Huddersfield. Now then, Kevin King, this conversion attempt, a formality for him. Bang between the uprights, and 8-6 the scoreline, and Batley with a great response. OK, fortuitous, but you've got to put yourself in there to make the charge down.
And that man, Danny Moore, normally a centre, but putting pressure here on the kicker in Dean Lawford. He's come in field, pressured him into the kick, and just the awareness, the knowing where the ball was, keeping his eye on it, and keeping his composure.
Once of Wigan Academy, Danny Moore. So Lawford with the restart, his kick that was charged down, of course. And Batley in possession. Chris Lythe, Bolo Fagboren slipping. We did have a torrential downpour about an hour before the game. Thankfully that's cleared up, but it has made this pitch very slippery indeed. As Byron Smith goes looking for the penalty, Chris Lythe, here is Craig Farrell, another of the teachers out there. You've got Langley for Dewsbury and Craig Farrell for the Batley Bulldogs, a teacher in Scarborough. Graham School in Scarborough is where Craig Farrell teaches. The kick from Paul Mennell, lofted. That's a good one into no man's land, but very coolly taken. Bryn Powell it was underneath it. And then, oh, dear me, having done the hard part, just a simple error.
Well, just a few minutes ago, Batley got excited about this game. Ollie Mans has chased in from the wing. Mourn's involved in the play of the ball. He's trying to clear the ruck. And Powell's adjust to have actually knocked on. You can see that one of two ways. But Batley really have fired up after a poor opening 5 or 10 minutes. They've got more injury concerns with Danny Moore now. He seems to be having his fingers rearranged by the physio.
Oh, no, I don't think this is before the watershed.
Oh, no.
That's
it's not going in. I think he's saying, no, don't try again.
I hope you're not having your tea at the moment, but Danny Moor's still having treatment out there. Meanwhile, play continues with his side in possession. Tui now. Tui on very early on because of the injury to Maloney. Marnes, here is Chris Lythe. Lythe tackled. Mennell, good ball from Mennell. Great hands, just short of the try line from King.
Stay on 2 feet. Go.
Spears. Mennell again, here is Farrell. That's the 5th tackle. Now then, they go down the short side. Little grubber kick comes in. Fagboren is chasing it, but too strong. Walker able to watch that one run dead.
Again, targeting Dean Lawford's side. They're putting pressure on him, trying to take a bit of energy out of him. Interesting to see how they're playing. They're playing right up the middle. They fancy the chances in Big Byron Smith. They really fancy chances against Dominic Maloney.
Well, Danny Moore is back in action in the Batley centres. That's left hand, right-handed is. Heavily strapped. And it's Dewsbury on the attack again.
17, we've got to get square.
It's Whedon, here's Lawford now. Lawford has options, one of them is Austin Buchanan. Kane Aparti now. Aparti hands the ball off or just dumps the ball into the hands of Andrew Bostock. That's the 5th tackle. Aparti. Lawford, crossfield kick, targeting Ollie Marnes. Marnes is under pressure. Well taken by Marnes. Touch judge is on. Now then, was somebody taken out competing for that ball?
Well, you have to imagine that Danny Moore has interfered here with the Dewsbury chaser for this kick.
Stay away, Chris.
That's how it initially looked, didn't it, as the first angle. Marnes did incredibly well, didn't he? He got up off the floor, took the kick cleanly. It has been an accurate kick through from Lawford, just in the field of play.
Oh, that's...
Number 4.
It's a bit harsh, that, isn't it?
If that is penalised, that is petty. They're both...
Obstruction on the chase is what the penalty will be determined from...
Well, Danny Moore penalised there.
2.
And now then, will Walker go for another 2 points? I think he will, yeah.
Chris, Ollie. Down the line.
They're expecting a close game. When you kick at goal from 5 metres in from touch, here's the decision again. Number 4 just runs across the line of Bryn Powell, according to the touch judge.
It probably didn't help him because he was actually looking, wasn't it? And he's running to the path of him. Players practice that all the time in training sessions, going to really, they call it escorting players off the ball, giving the wingers, the fullbacks a chance to catch the ball so they're unimpeded.
So Walker with this one. He's given it a good thump right between the uprights, and Dewsbury ahead by 10 points to 6. But problems for the Batley Bulldogs, we can hear about those now from Ben Pro.
A couple of problems for Batley, Bill. First of all, the try scorer, Danny Moore, and you might have noticed when he converted that 4-pointer, the celebration involved, well, it looked like a passing move. In fact, it was a road sweeping illustration, because he gets a lot of stick from the fans here about his career. Well, he's dislocated a finger on his road sweeping hand, so whether that will jeopardise his career in the short term, we don't know. Another problem is for Francis Maloney, just an update there. It's suspected ligament damage. That left knee is iced in the dugout there, so Francis Maloney has some problems.
34-year-old Francis Maloney probably then not likely to return. And Austin Buchanan unable to take that.
Nice attempted play back on the inside, wouldn't it? Showed it to the out, knew that the defence would slide. Just wondered if he could push Buchanan through that small hole back on the inside, utilising his speed to break the line. They haven't taken possession.
They're showing great movement of the ball, aren't they, Phil? They're looking to play on every opportunity, get a good couple of quick play of the balls and take Batley on the edges.
So it's Batley on the attack, and Marnes just back in the side and on the score sheet, right down the line from Ollie Marnes. And he's got his first try of the season for the Batley Bulldogs, and they level the scores.
Well, this is my favourite rugby league try. When the ball's passed from a scrum and one set of backs just challenge themselves and take on their opponents. Here you see, shift it wide, goes first to the standoff, the foot scrum half loops around the back, and then it's the fullback Priest who manages to get outside his opponent, drawing the winger and release Marnes. Absolutely brilliant. We could look at this again here now, head on angle, just look what the corner flag sees. Going to see good movement to the ball, pacing him on the outside by Priest, and Marnes just doing enough to slide in before pushed into touch.
29-year-old Ollie Marnes,
Number 14.
and very experienced campaigner.
14, I think.
Spends part of the winter playing Union, but Gary Thornton had no qualms about bringing him back, putting him straight into the lineup when Jamie Stokes had to pull out. And Kevin King with another tricky touchline conversion, but he landed a belter from this sort of range at Barra last Thursday, right in front of the Barra supporters. They were breathing down his neck. I think they were just hanging on to his collar at one point, and he landed that one, so every chance of landing this one, King. He's pushed. Oh! I thought he was going to go wide. In the end, it hit the upright, but 10 apiece. And we've got a game on here, that's for sure. Marnes with the try, King very close with the conversion. So Dewsbury off to a flyer, 8-0 up, have been pegged back now. And that despite Batley having the problem of losing Francis Maloney very early on. So Priest underneath the restart. And that's great chase from the Dewsbury Rams. Stention felt that. Ashley Lindsay is on the field. Byron Smith now. Chris Lythe. And then young Paul Mennell, former Bradford Bulls and Huddersfield Giants academy player, launches that one downfield. That's a heck of a kick. And it's a good chase from Batley.
That's a heck of a set as well, isn't it? Making 100 yards there, controlling the route there. Now look how tight they are, holding compressed. Really trying to dominate this set and come up with a winning structure and a winning formula for Gary Thornton.
Austin Buchanan. Sorry, Phil.
It's been a brilliant opening quarter to this game. If the next 60 minutes are as good as the first 20, in for something special. Handling error there now. Buchanan's lost the ball again now.
0.
It was Kane Party, I think, who that one squeezed out of. So Bolo Fagboran able to pick up and make a few yards. Kevin Crowthers is on. Crowthers plays that ball. Mennel. It's with Tim Spears. Spears driving for the line. Held just short. Another former Dewsbury man out there, playing in the colours of the Batley Bulldogs now. Mennel, Byron Smith. Smith has lost that ball. It went backwards, says the referee. And Chris Lythe pounced on it, fortunately for his side. Tui puts the little grubber kick in, and it's snapped up by Patrick Walker. It just stuck in the mud, and Walker was first to react to that.
Started slow, didn't they? But since they've got the discipline sorted, as you need to be very composed when you're playing these derby games. Keep your discipline. They've got that sorted, and they seem to be winning the arm wrestle at the minute, keeping them defending up in their own 20, making them come out of trying to force the error.
Henderson, I beg your pardon, it's Terry Glassy who is tackled, and he didn't like that. And it's just getting a little bit warmer out there now. Bit of finger pointing after that tackle. Glassy objecting to the attention from Luke Stenchen. And then Liam Finn puts the kick in. Bit of a slither from Ian Priest, but manages to keep a hold of the ball. Ollie Marnes on his own 20-metre line. Bolo Fagboran now. Fagboran makes a couple of metres. Chris Lythe just directing things, looking for Chris King maybe to go down the short side, and King says, OK, I'll have a gallop, and he's off, and he's got support from Mennel outside him. Has Mennel got the legs? Well, he did have, but they went from underneath him. Oh, cruel luck from poor Mennel, but they're still on the attack now. Here is Lindsay. Again, they're giving it some width. Then they come back in field with Tui. Tui is all wrapped up. That's the 5th tackle. They go down the short side. Crowthers with the kick. It's still on the last. Chris Lythe. Lythe fancies it himself. Can he get the ball away? He can't. That'll be the turnover.
Well, give a massive amount of applause to Austin Buchanan, because when this break is made, he does one of the best full-back attempts here. Look, he backs off to make the decision hard for King, by which time then it's a one-on-one and he gets his man. Fantastic effort by the full-back.
No, you're not seeing things. Kane Party and Austin Buchanan have actually swapped shirts in the course of the game. Just to keep you on your toes. Dewsbury on the attack. Here is Lawford. Lawford shifts the ball wide. Party was screaming for it. He sensed an opportunity out wide. Lawford again. Here is Terry Glassy, one of the recruits by Andy Kelly during the close season, the Cook Islander. And the kick from Liam Finn, and Finn, remarkable record of being ever present for the last couple of seasons for the Dewsbury Rams, Finn.
And he does that particular play very, very well, doesn't he? He gets out with his right side of the play, the ball, kicks with his right foot into that corner, and all 3 that he's made so far have been excellently placed.
Some big hits going on there. Henderson, recipient of that one. Here is big John Simpson now. Simpson on the charge. The Batley supporters urging him on.
And look at that, Bill.
And then getting the penalty.
They're trying to do everything to slow this side down, aren't they? You can see those Simpson picking Dean Lawford out. Dean Lawford now in the first 25 minutes has made 11 tackles. They're really targeting him. That's where the break come from last time, because they couldn't quite get back in the defensive line.
It's Martin Robinson, 27 yesterday, who was penalised. Here is Simpson once more. That looked high on him. The Bulldog supporters certainly thought so. Lindsay now. Nowhere for Ash Lindsay, man of the match in their Northern Rail Cup victory at Barrow. Nowhere for him to go. Chris Lythe. Mennel. Priest just spotted a gap. Oh, that looked high. Nothing doing. And the referee continues the tackle count, and it's slip then, and knock on in fact. So the Batley Bulldogs feeling a little bit hard done by there. And
Just a
looking
little
towards the
break in
touchline.
concentration yet. That pause at the play of the ball, and then a poor pass from the dummy half. So often the breakdown is so many moves. Priest does really well as a fullback. He chimes into the line so well. You could say that was a high tackle. They lost the ball and it went backwards, but at the moment, Dewsbury under a massive amount of pressure to simply get out of their own 20-metre zone.
Austin Buchanan trying to do that. Whedon. It's with Bryn Powell, and Powell tackled by Ollie Marnes. Here is Patch Walker. He's tackled. And this very slippery, soggy surface is surely going to tax the players as well. It's going to be heavy going. It's going to get churned up and heavier going. It's the kick. Does find touch. Marnes was banking on that one, sailing out of play, but Whedon just managing to find a bit of grass inside the whitewash.
Pinpoint, Bill. Fantastic kick there. What'll be hard for these boys is that the team that controls the ball will go a long way to winning this game, because it's slippery conditions. Two very good halfbacks who get out, pressurise the kicks. Batley at the minute look really urgent in what they're trying to do when they're defending, trying to force the error. As you've already mentioned, Bill, this Ash Lindsay was tremendous last week, wasn't he? He made a massive impact, and he started off like that again tonight.
Good break from Lindsay there. Now Ollie Marnes. Marnes trying to continue the good work, and the penalty offside goes against the Dewsbury Rams.
Dewsbury seem unable to match the speed with which Batley are playing this game. All sorts of the penalties and errors and breaks, just the intensity and the tempo at which Batley are now playing, too much for the Rams to cope with.
And Kevin King has decided to go for 2 points, 40 metres out. But he's got a big boot on him, Kevin King. Played Super League. Kevin King with Castleford and Wakefield. And this one just about straight onto the posts. And as I said, about 40 metres out, just over that line. And this to put the Batley Bulldogs in the lead for the first time on the evening. And that's well struck, straight as a die from Kevin King.
They've showed a lot of hunger, haven't they, to win that little collision. And as we were saying, Ash Lindsay there coming on, and Gary Thornton plugging him right on at precisely the right time. That really tiring the Dewsbury forwards now, not coming up with the plays. Dean Lawford really has to, I think he's got to get the plays going in the middle of the ruck. Instead of trying to play around this Batley side, try and play through them.
Bolofagboran not taking any chances with that one. I thought that was going to whistle between him and Simpson and go out, but Fagboran trapped it. Well, Batley doing well to be 12-10 ahead, given the problems they've had with injuries. More news from Ben.
Danny Moran's just returned to the field, Bill. The dislocated finger initially wasn't put back correctly, so he had to come back off again for it to be reset once more. As for Francis Maloney, who cuts a forlorn figure in the dugout, it is confirmed as ligament damage, and the prognosis is that he could be out for between 4 and 6 weeks.
Well, no pain, no gain, as they say, and already a painful night for the Batley Bulldogs, but they're ahead at the moment. Mennell with the kick. Was that a bit of a late hit from Liam Finn? Here is Kane Party now.
Well, he's been asking for more possession, wanting the ball to get to him. I think he sometimes maybe needs to get to the ball a little more often and try and inject himself. Bolo Fagboran's had numerous runs from the dummy half position and got himself active. Put a party on the left wing for Dewsbury. Perhaps starved the possession to date.
Bretherton is tackled just inside the Batley half. Now here's Josh Whedon. Whedon, short ball for Terry Glassy. They're keeping this ball alive well, Walker. Now it's with Finn. Finn is tackled by Mennell. Luke Haig Haig, Ryan Glynn. A couple of the Dewsbury youngsters there, Haig and Glynn, both 20 years old, on the last now. And Finn again looking to put pressure on Ollie Marnes. Marnes has dropped that one. That'll be the knock-on. Well, I thought he'd got there. He thought he'd got there, and then it just pinged out of his hands, and he's not pleased.
Well, Finn has shown his accuracy with the low kick that's gained ground for them, and that's a difficult one because he's challenged, isn't he, in the play eventually. Bryn Powell slips and falls to ground, but it was probably enough to distract Marnes.
So Dewsbury in possession. Half an hour gone. They led 8-0. They're down 12-10 now. Coming down the short side with Bostock. Bostock tackled just a couple of metres away from that Batley line. Here's Terry Glassy now. Oh, Finn's gone without it. And that'll be the knock-on. And just a little exchange of pleasantries there. Bit of frustration from Liam Finn and his Dewsbury colleagues.
And he started off really well, Liam Finn, just taking his eye off the ball there. You can just see him have a little look up, see what's in front of him. Pass was perfect off Terry Glassy. I think that they just need to really concentrate now. They seem to be lacking that fluency that they really started off strong with the first 10 minutes. Also, the speed of the line here looks really good. They're trying to force that error. A bit frustrated with the way the game's going away from them.
Batley Bulldogs in possession. Henderson on the charge. Chris Lythe appealing for intervention from Gareth Hewer. Nothing coming. Simpson. Terry Glassy with the tackle on him. That's good work from Tim Spears again. That's the 5th tackle. Lythe, Mennell once more with the kick into a bit of open field just between Buchanan and Bryn Powell, but that was too strong and that's going to go dead. But certainly Batley have come back well in this second half of the first half and look the stronger side.
No matter how technical you make rugby league, it still boils down to simple principle. The team that runs the hardest and tackles the most aggressive usually go on to win. And Batley have done that really. After the opening 10 minutes in which they conceded too many penalties and couldn't get their hands on the ball, they've run strong and tackled even stronger.
You're right, Phil. It's about winning every collision that you go into, isn't it? Whether you're running with the ball there like Terry Glass is doing now, he's got to land on his front, get a quick play of the ball, or whether you're tackling and you've got to come up with that dominant tackle and try and turn the opposition on the back.
The kick goes up from Whedon. Underneath it is Priest. Under pressure is Priest, but he did really well to take that one. A horde of Rams charging down on him, and then Langley it is who's penalised for just hanging around there. And just relieving the pressure. Andy Kelly will be frustrated by that. Allowing Batley to get out of their own danger zone.
It'd be very frustrating, Bill, because that's where you want to defend against the opposition. When they're bringing the ball out in greasy conditions like this, that's where you want to defend.
Andy Kelly, the Ireland coach as well, of course. He's got a World Cup campaign to plan for later this year. He's got some good news today as well, the Irish camp, because I understand they've landed a sponsorship deal for their World Cup campaign and beyond with Carnegie, Leeds Carnegie, who are, of course, great supporters of the game, and they're now supporting the Ireland World Cup campaign. And that promises to be quite a World Cup campaign. One way or another, it's going to be a memorable one for the Irish. Chris Lythe puts the kick in. That's going nowhere really, and much too strong. Well, there's more action to come, of course, on Sky Sports with Super League from the jungle. Castleford Tigers against Hull FC on Friday at 7:25. Sky Sports 1 and HD1. And then on Saturday, Huddersfield Giants and the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats go head-to-head Saturday at 5:55. And that's on Sky Sports 2, and again available in HD2. Here it's Dewsbury Rams against the Batley Bulldogs. A great local derby, keenly contested as ever. Just the 2 points separating the sides, and a knock-on by the Dewsbury Rams there.
What an excellent tackle. It perfectly exemplifies what Batley have done really for about the last 30 minutes. Hitting in hard around the ball. Tim Spears throwing his body at it fully.
Ryan Glynn it was who went without the ball.
Let's go.
So Batley have the ball back, and Ashley Lindsay picks it up from the base of the scrum.
Fast.
Lindsay, another former Dewsbury man. I think there are 10 out there who are old boys, either ex-Batley or ex-Dewsbury.
Second. 16.
You know what you want your bench to do, Bill? You want your bench to make an impact. And all the Batley's players that have come off the bench, in Lindsay and Simpson, Henderson and Tooby, they've all made a massive impact and really changed the way this first half's gone.
Mennell now looking threatening, this young number 7, Paul Mennell.
10 again, come on, make it 10. Let's go.
It's with Tim Spears once more. Spears has lost possession and Buchanan has picked it up. Looking for open field.
0.
Dewsbury supporters appealing for the penalty there. Bostock. Big, strong centre, 6'3" tall, Andrew Bostock, but he's limped away from that play the ball. Kane Aparti. Aparti tackled on halfway.
What? Go.
It's with Bretherton. Coming towards the end of the first half. And the penalty, I think, will go against Kevin Crowthers. Oh, and there we go. I said it was going to get fiery, and it did. And there is no love lost between these two sides, despite the fact that several of them are former teammates. They know each other well. It's Dewsbury against Batley.
I don't know whose handbag it was there, but I saw one swinging. Crowther's there. He's a tough cook. He played against him a few times. Always wants to win everything that he's in, but I've got a bit carried away here.
Well, he's complaining that he got his hand held there.
I've got the penalty for the handing.
By Alex Bretherton.
Put the ball for the sin bin, calm him down.
Nothing thrown there, Bill. Bit of pushing and shoving. Obviously wouldn't like to be in the middle of it, like, but...
I think it's Kevin Crowthers who's going to the bin, yeah.
I think they both end up there, and I think that's an excellent decision.
Bretherton should be the number 12 who was involved for Dewsbury, and he's off as well.
Well, that's what the sin bin should be for.
Bretherton just still protesting his innocence, but Chris Langley just pulls him away and tells him to leave the field. So Gareth Ewer laying down the law there. Well, I said the last meeting was tempestuous, and that this was likely to be, and here we go again. And it really was about nothing.
But you can't play the sport without aggression, and at times it boils over. It's very easy to condemn from up here, but it's a tough game out there, and you can't control that emotion on and off every single second.
It wasn't condemning.
No, I'm just explaining, I think, sometimes why on television you would think it's stupidity, but I think sometimes the heat of the battle gets to you.
Well, the heat of the battle now is on the Batley Bulldogs until Terry Glassy goes without it. Right in front of those posts, and that's a let-off for the Bulldogs as the seconds run out at the end of this first half. And Terry Glassy.
And that was the first chance Dewsbury's had for quite some time now to try and build some pressure. First 5-10 minutes, Bill, they looked really strong, didn't they? That's when they were getting the penalties, completing the sets. But the last 20 minutes, they seem to have gone away from them. They've given away a few penalties. They look like a team that's under a bit of pressure. Need to start playing with a bit more fluency.
Mennell chased down by Finn, but gets the kick away well, and it's fielded by Dewsbury, who've lost possession, and picked up by Mark Toohey. So Batley have it back again, and Dewsbury started the game so well, and they're ending it looking a little bit shambolic.
There's just some big collisions going on out there, isn't there, Bill? Ash Lindsay again, just getting under the ball. He's made a big impact since he's come on from the bench.
That's a big impact there from Danny Morn, dislocated finger as well. Morn is tackled. They're going down the short side with Chris Lythe. Lythe tackled just short of the try line. Into the final minute in this first half. Lindsay sweeps the ball wide for Mennell, and Mennell back for Kevin King, and King, big strong running centre, maybe could run a bit stronger, but they're running strongly now with Henderson. Henderson just short of the try line for the Batley Bulldogs. Spears has gone without it. The try line was begging, but he had to stretch for that. And that'll be the end of the first half action. Gary Thornton's side have come back well. They trailed to those early tries from Langley and the goal kicking of Walker 8 points to 0, but they've come back to just get their noses in front, the Bulldogs. Morn and Marnes, the try scorers for them. Ollie Marnes on his return to the club, and King's goal kicking has put them 12-10 ahead at the break.
Saracens in association with Barclays Commercials, Saturday 12:30, Sky Sports 2 and HD2.
A Halfords price breakthrough. For the first time, with an in-dash sat-nav and entertainment system for only $399.99. With a 7-inch touchscreen display, radio, CD player, MP3 connectivity, and fully installed for free. All for only $399.99. Only at Halfords.
New Fanta Still.
Do the moves and change to Comfort Concentrate. With less than half the packaging and even longer lasting freshness. It's better for the environment and for you.
Last season, almost a third of first tries were scored by wingers. Sky Bet, it matters more when there's money on it.
And here at the Tetley Stadium, at half-time, it's the Dewsbury Rams 10, the Batley Bulldogs 12, the Rams 8-0 up. Langley, the try scorer early on, and Patrick Walker kicking 3 goals. But Batley Bulldogs coming back well with Danny Morn and Ollie Marnes, their try scorers, and Kevin King with a couple of goals as well, just putting the Bulldogs 12-10 ahead. Now, we saw the Batley Bulldogs in action last Thursday on Sky Sports. A terrific game at the Barrow Raiders. The Bulldogs just winning 24-20 to go through to the quarter-finals of the Northern Rail Cup. And who will they meet in that quarter-final draw? Well, you can find out now on Sky Sports as we hand over to Craig Spence, the RFL's communications manager, to conduct the draw for the quarter-finals of the Northern Rail Cup.
Good evening and welcome to the quarter-final draw for the 2008 Northern Rail Cup. The home teams will be drawn by Steve Butcher, an area director for the competition sponsors Northern Rail. The away teams will be drawn by former Great Britain international and Sky Sports commentator Phil Clark. Gentlemen, the draw.
Featherstone Rovers.
Salford City Reds.
Featherstone Rovers will play Salford City Reds.
Batley Bulldogs.
Oldham.
Batley Bulldogs will play Oldham.
Celtic Crusaders.
Widnes Vikings.
Celtic Crusaders will play Widnes Vikings.
Rochdale Hornets.
Doncaster.
Rochdale Hornets will play Doncaster. And that concludes the draw for the quarter-finals of the 2008 Northern Rail Cup. These ties will be played on the 24th and 25th of May, with one tie brought forward until the 22nd of May for live on Sky Sports. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Craig. Well, immediately something leaping out. Rochdale against Doncaster there at the bottom of the draw. National League 2 sides going head-to-head, which means we'll get a National League 2 side in the semi-finals. But the full quarter-final draw then, Featherstone against Salford, Batley against Oldham. Well, Gary Thornton was hoping for a home draw. I think he'll be pretty happy with that one. Celtic Crusaders against Widnes, and Rochdale against Doncaster. Ties to be played May the 22nd to the 25th. One of those, of course, will be live on Sky Sports. That's the Northern Rail Cup quarter-final draw then. Here we've got the little matter of the Dewsbury Rams against the Batley Bulldogs. Batley ahead, Terry, but Dewsbury off to a good start.
Yeah, Dean Lawford though, just having the vision, knowing that he could get his men outside. Alex Bretherton coming up with a great ball there to Chris Langley, who just got outside of Ollie Mans. But here, kick pressure off Danny Morn. We saw last week up in Barra, the pressure that he puts on the players, and here he gets his just rewards. Following it up, no one near him. Really a good skill that to have, great honesty in his work. And the last try of his first half, a sweeping move here from Priest, beats his man, gets on the outside of him. Ollie Mans just having the strength to stay inside and getting in the corner. Really going against them, Bill, there, the first 10 minutes, but they got back into the game strongly.
And Dewsbury Rams with a bit of work to do as well. Andy Kelly possibly raising the roof in their dressing room.
Yeah, I think what he's going to be saying is that we need to do what we're doing in the first 10 minutes. We were really frustrating them, we were winning the collision, we were dominating the ruck, slowing them down, and then Batley were really putting some penalties in. They were really under pressure, and they went away with it. They look like the team that were pressured then, Bill.
Well, they tend to be close, these games. A Northern Rail Cup tie earlier in the season finished 19-18 in Batley's favour. This looks as though this one could be close as well. There's only 2 points in it at the moment. The Doggies with their noses in front.
The dead can't talk.
Why gamble with your choice of online casino? CasinoChoice.co.uk helps you choose a safe, trusted and fair online casino and poker room. And as we've been recommending UK casinos since 2001, we can give you sound advice. So visit CasinoChoice.co.uk today.
Love film? Yeah. Want an easy way to rent DVDs?
Yes! Yes!
Want to choose from over 65,000 titles?
What?
From just $3.99 a month?
Huh? I mean, wow.
What about late fees? Okay, no late fees ever.
That's very reassuring.
We send, you watch. It's that simple.
Seriously?
Even the postage is free.
Top that.
For your 2-week free trial, go to lovefilm.com.
You have probably been wondering what the properties in Polaris World look like. They are homes like this for £89,000. 2-bedroom apartments with terrace and this magnificent garden and swimming pool. Or this one for £97,000 on the ground floor with 3 bedrooms and a garden. If you prefer a 2-bedroom frontline golf property with these magnificent views, your home will cost £100,000. And all are surrounded by green areas, lakes, gyms, spas, bars, restaurants, and are just a short drive to the beach. Come and discover Polaris World at no cost and see why we are still selling houses.
Call now for your free Polaris World Discovery Pack.
When it's vital you're at your best, don't let heartburn and indigestion hold you back. Reach for Gaviscon Double Action.
It works in 2 ways, and it's our best ever formula to soothe burning pain and neutralize excess acid.
For relief you can really feel. Gaviscon Double Action to the rescue.
It's Challenge Churchill time, and here's your host, Paul from Cardiff.
Churchill,
What famous phrase beginning with the letters O and Y answers the following question? Are thousands of people challenging you on car insurance every week? Do you need to call a chum, Churchill?
Oh no, because the answer's oh yeah.
Correct.
If you've not get challenged, Churchill, call or go online.
She dominated the news for over a decade. Get 2 exclusive Thatcher DVDs free inside the Telegraph this weekend.
Why are problems such a problem? Aren't they just a chance to make something better?
On average, the last try is scored on 74 minutes. Sky Bet, it matters more when there's money on it.
Coming up on Sky Sports Live Super League on Friday, it's the Castleford Tigers against Hull FC, 7:25 on Sky Sports 1 on HD1, and that is followed via the red button by Super League Extra Time. Review of the action, interviews and a preview of what's coming up on Saturday, which is Huddersfield Giants against the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats, 5:55 on Sky Sports 2 and HD2. So 2 cracking games from Super League to look forward to. A cracking 40 minutes ahead here, but we've just seen the draw for the Northern Rail Cup quarter-finals, and we can now confirm that the game featured on Sky from those quarter-finals will be Featherstone Rovers against the Salford City Reds, 7:30 on Sky Sports on Thursday, May the 22nd. That should be a great tie as well. Featherstone Rovers against Salford, Batley against Oldham, Celtic against Widnes, Rochdale against Doncaster, the other ties from the quarter-final draw just made here on Sky Sports. But as I said, we've got 40 minutes to go in this cooperative National League One game between the Dewsbury Rams and the Batley Bulldogs. It's the Bulldogs who are ahead by 12 points to 10, which will cheer their supporters down in Dagenham in East London. The Hainault Bulldogs, who are an associated club with the Batley Bulldogs. The Londoners getting plenty of support from Batley and vice versa as well, and their season coming up, of course, the conference season just about to start for those other Bulldogs down there. And in fact, they've got a big day coming up on April the 14th at Hainault Bulldogs, because they'll be hosting the Challenge Cup. It'll be at their ground, the Barking Rugby Club in Dagenham, on April the 14th. Here it's the National League that's at stake, or National League points that are at stake. And it's Batley in possession, very nearly not in possession. And Ashley Lindsay just, I think, caught unawares by that.
I think it was vital for Dewsbury, who'd physically lost out in so many of the battles in that first half, to start the second half successfully. And they have done with a charge down.
But fortunately for them, it's not going to ricochet kindly as it did for Danny Morn in the first half, and Bolifag Boren pounced on it.
But a real positive indicator that they've spoken at half-time, they've upped their intensity in defence, they contained the Batley go forward, and they're starting now to challenge them. When their Batley side now carry the ball, they know that it's a far tougher job than it was in the first half.
Well, that's a great ball from Simpson. He found Priest, but Priest just didn't have any support there. Now here's Henderson. Henderson on the charge. Both sides, of course, down to 12. Crowthers in the sin bin. So too is Bretherton. That's the 5th tackle. And the mud really starting to stick now. That's very coolly picked up by Bryn Powell on this slippery surface, but that's a good chase. Danny Morn in there. Here's Kainapati. Well, Batley ahead, and they've also, unlike Dewsbury Rams, got themselves through to the quarter-finals of the Northern Rail Cup. We can hear now from the Batley coach, Gary Thornton.
Gary, I know you're wrapped up in this game, but first of all, your reaction to the draw for the Northern Rail Cup?
very pleased that we've got Oldham at home. We wanted a home draw, and that's what we've got. So, yeah, delighted with that.
Couple of injuries in that first half as well, a couple of unlucky people in that dressing room. Any updates you can give us?
Yeah, Francis Maloney's done a medial ligament, and he's certainly not going to take any part in this game. I don't know how long he's going to be out for, but that's a big loss for us. But we've got Mark Tui out there, who's just as good a deputy, great deputy for us, so hopefully it won't affect us too much.
And 8-0 down early on, you did well to get back into it. It's that sort of arm wrestling in these conditions as well.
Yeah, it's not the best conditions, and I thought we muscled up really well. It was a great response from us, really, going 8-0 down. We didn't fall, we showed a lot of character, a lot of commitment, and deserve to be in the lead, I think, at the moment.
Thanks very much, Guy.
No problem.
There's Dewsbury in possession at the moment, and Luke Haig tackled about 20 metres out. That's the 5th tackle. Haig getting up and wiping mud from his face. I think Fagboren under a bit of pressure did well to take that one, because I think he was taken out in the air there.
I agree with you, Bill. What a brilliant catch. He got up off the floor. Seemed to be actually shifted by some opponents, and yet remarkably kept his arms well out in a position to take the catch. But just look how hard now Dewsbury are making it for Batley to get even over that 10-metre line. Just waves away the physio. He's okay.
Langley taking objections to the run there. Felt there was an elbow raised. Morn doing well here. Oh, and then the ball is... Well, it was good work from Bryn Powell to lever that ball free. It was one-on-one, I think, at that point.
Well, technically, other players have been involved in the tackle, so I don't know how it is a one-on-one tackle.
Well, lucky then to get away with it.
Well, Dewsbury needed some luck, Bill, to get into it, didn't it? Here's the run by Danny Moore, outstanding. Pushes away Josh Whedon. Just can't get away from Bryn Powell, who rips the ball free. Dewsbury with the first chance to attack there in the second half.
Dewsbury on the attack again now with Buchanan. Oh, well, I thought that ball had slipped out of the grasp of... It was Bostock, I think.
This is where they're going to have to control the ball, Andy, because in the first half they could come up with twice as many errors as the Batley team, and that's what really let them down, as well as the penalties towards the end of that first half. And Andy Kelly will be really upset. They're trying to build pressure, and if you build pressure, teams crack in the end, and especially in this weather, anything can happen in these slippy conditions.
Exasperated look on Andy Kelly's face as that error was committed. Ryan Sheridan alongside him. Priest gets to his feet to play the ball. Marnes makes another couple of metres before he's clattered to the ground by Patrick Walker. Here's Lindsay, and that's a throw, and penalised.
And again, Bill, coming up with a mistake, then Jake Wilson coming up with a penalty. Really letting Batley out of the territory that they don't want to bring the ball up, but now they're up to halfway, nearly in the attacking zone.
19-year-old Jake Wilson, the player penalised there. Just broke into the side, the Dewsbury side at the end of last year. Batley ahead by 12 points to 10 then. Simpson doing the strong work up the middle.
They seem to be making so many easy metres up that middle of the pitch, don't they, where the initial contact's just not strong enough.
Mennell, Spears, he's tackled to his feet slowly to play the ball. Lindsay once more. Fagboren again slipping on this very muddy, sticky field. Terry Glassy with the tackle. Chris Lythe. Here's John Simpson again. More good work from the big prop. Gets to his feet to play the ball. Danny Morn. Having a big game, Danny Morn. Now then, what's the kick like? Well, not exactly what he intended, I think, and it's easily fielded by Bostock. And Bostock, though, is driven back. That's great work. The tackle is completed now, says Gareth Hewer, the referee, but completed right under the shadow of those Dewsbury posts.
Well, Batley seems to have tapped into a desire that's unsurpassed at the moment. The opponents can't cope with it. They're making more metres in the collision. And now both sides return to 13 aside. The two Simbin players back on the field.
Bretherton and Crowthers back to rejoin the fray as Dewsbury have possession. with Terry Glassy.
That's 5. That's move. Downside.
Just short of the halfway line.
Good work, Neil.
Liam Finn. That's gone, I think, straight out of play off the outside of his boot, and Finn just questioning what was supposed to happen there. That wasn't supposed to happen, that's for sure. I'd be disappointed with that, the Irish international, because his kicking game to start with was spot on.
Very hard for a right-footed kicker, though, who's under pressure from the middle of the field on the left-hand side of the pitch to kick the ball and keep it in play. He's immediately under pressure because of the position he finds himself in.
Here is Kevin Crowthers involved in that spat towards the end of the first half. Gets to his feet to play the ball. Lyth. Here's Paul Mennell. Mennell finds Farrell. Farrell's pass eventually reaches Fagboren, but he's going to do well to stay in the field of play on this slippery field. He does so. Goes to ground straight away, Bolu Fagboren. Tim Spears. Spears, he's worked really hard for his side.
Onside. Go.
And they're going down the short side. That's a great ball and a great Dewsbury tie as Kevin King slithers over. And I literally think he did glide over the try line for the last few feet of that. And Kevin King gets his 7th try of the season. And the Batley Bulldogs coach delighted with that.
Well, the acting halfback nowadays in rugby league has probably less than a second at every single play of the ball to scan that defensive line and see an opportunity or weakness. Lyth does that by coming out. He knows that there'll be 3 attackers and only 2 defenders, and by shooting down the short side, he's able to put his centre partner, King, into that small hole and know that he'll slide over, and this week, ground the ball successfully. Gareth Thornton delighted there. Good vision from his hooker, and nice support play from the centre.
Joe Berry alongside Gary Thornton, his assistant there. And Kevin King, well, he seemed to take a bang in scoring that try, but he's back on his feet. And he did well there because he knew he was going to be able to slither the last little bit of that. So he went to ground early on, and it paid off. And King with another tricky conversion. Well, that maybe shook him up a little bit. He's pulled that one wide of the posts, but his side are ahead by 16 points to 10.
Chris Lyth, very, very inventive play there. Just how he gets out from dummy half, runs at the defensive line. Here you see him just get out, runs with the ball in 2 hands, puts him in 2 minds. Great ball there and great angle there from King scoring the corner.
He'll be glad to get that one down, Phil.
Well, he's probably still had a bit of stick at training this week. The fact that he dropped the ball over the line, it's about 2 inches before grounding it last week. No mistake this week. And Dewsbury need to find something. I always believe when you're losing a closely contested match, as Dewsbury are here today, you need one of your players to come up with something special in defence. A bone-shaking tackle, one that really drives your opponents back, lifts your teammates, and possibly forces the ball out in an error. That's the focus now for Dewsbury. Can they improve their defence?
It's Batley on the attack at the moment. The Bulldog supporters saying Lyth was taken high there by Bryn Powell.
It's hard to come up with a good shot, isn't it, when you're backpedaling, Phil? You know, when you see that the way the Batley players just seem to be getting on the front foot.
Well, that's a good break. It's a great break from Mark Toohey. The ball back in field, that surely was a knock-on. Gareth Ewer spotting it, yeah. A little hand in there from Bostock it was. And it'll be Batley's head and feed.
It's all Batley at the moment. Toohey makes the break, throws the ball over the top, and King again's in space, but his attempted pass is intercepted, knocked down by Bostock illegally. That's a knock-on, and again, it's even more Batley. I hope they can put that scrum player that they showed us in the first half.
Dewsbury needs somebody to spark things up, and a notice on the far side, Dean Lawford is ready to return for his team.
They've also importantly got Dominic Maloney now back on the side, a forward with a headband around his head. Watch for him, he was good when
as opposed to the headband around
what? Just rewind that and do that comment.
Fagboren, he's tackled just short of the line. Here comes Batley again. Lyth loves it from that range. Lythe, tackled by Dominic Maloney. Here's Craig Farrell. Love to get over the try line with the Batley skipper.
2 feet, 2 feet. Go. Last.
Crowthers driving for the line. The drizzle just coming down. That was the last tackle. That'll be the turnover. Didn't really come to anything for the Batley Bulldogs. Here's Langley, and they're offside, or not standing square, I think. So that's a reprieve for the Dewsbury Rams. It was Mark Toohey, I think. Dewsbury looking for some inspiration. Can Kana Party apply it?
Fast tackle move. 2 feet. Go.
Here's Maloney.
Second, hands out. Wait.
Just on the halfway line now. Lawford is on. Can he pull the strings for the Dewsbury Rams, maybe? Well, they're on the 40-metre line. That's 3 tackles gone. Lawford once more. Here's Whedon. Whedon, short ball, finds Bretherton. Bretherton, well tackled.
Kevin, come on.
Langley, early try scorer for the Dewsbury Rams, but no joy for them since then. Lawford then hoists the kick. That's too strong, or is it? It did go dead. I thought that would bounce back into the field of play. And then Chris Lythe losing his bearings slightly and almost took the tap on the 30.
But a better play there, a better set of 6 by the Dewsbury side. Aaron Trinder coming up with a strong drive, Dominic Maloney coming up with a strong drive, and then a kick that just went out. But again, they had the time to get set on the 30-metre line to try and defend and try and force that error, like you're saying, Phil.
Batley Bulldogs, they lead by 16 points to 10. They're going down the short side. Good defence that time. Big tackle from Maloney, making his presence felt since returning. Lindsay, that's the 5th tackle. I beg your pardon, it was Mennell in the mud there. Toohey with a kick. Almost a good kick, just had a little bit too much on it. That's a great run. It's a run. That is head down, get in there. And Langley then ran into some pretty solid defence as well.
Well, as it set the tone for the next runs, there's a Party takes it forward. And he may be more than one-man efforts, but they've got to get some momentum here now and some speed back in their play.
There's 2 teachers going head-to-head there, Chris Langley and Craig Farrell. Don't like to think what they do to the pupils.
And that's what's come off the back of him running, taking that first ball in and running hard and direct, trying to slow him down there, trying to slow Buchanan down. Only way they could slow him down there was illegally.
Go to the bottom of the class, Mr. Farrell. So Dewsbury, this is a good opportunity for them. They've got Batley backpedaling towards their own line. Bostock suffered a nasty shoulder injury in the game between Dewsbury and Batley on Sky Sports last season, when Batley just nicked that one. What are they going to do here? The ball with Bretherton. Bretherton, well, that was a good tackle from Ollie Marnes. Got ball and all there. Batley under a little bit of pressure here now, right underneath their own posts.
2 feet, go.
Finn. Lawford firing the pass out there, but Dewsbury read that one well. On the last now. The kick from Buchanan, and that's very well dealt with by Fagboren.
Well, at least on that kick, it did apply a little bit of pressure. It forced Fagboren to come up with a catch under pressure in the in-goal area. The previous one had just gone over the dead ball line. And here now, oh well, the Dewsbury home support thought that there was an error there from Byron Smith. Referee claims don't play on, and Ollie Marnes now gets them up to the 40-metre line.
It's with Luke Stenchen. Stenchen is tackled just short of the halfway line. And it's settling into a real slog in the mud now. Just the try and a goal between these two sides in the Batley Bulldogs' favour.
Go.
And the pitch and the conditions not getting any better. Rain falling again, the kick hanging in the air, and Austin Buchanan ignored all the distractions ahead of him and took that one well.
That's well taken, that with the pressure that he was getting put under there by the Batley players, chasing that upfield. Fantastic take there, great awareness from him.
You sense a mini revival here from Dewsbury. I think you trace it back to the run by Chris Langley from that tap on the 20-metre line. Carried the ball with power, and all of a sudden the rest of his teammates seem energised on the back of that. They fancy the chances here now.
But they need to convert that into points. Straight up the middle with Dominic Maloney. Great offload from Maloney. Good step that was from Josh Whedon. Whedon, who suffered a broken leg last season, which restricted his appearances, determined to make up for it this year. It's with Walker. Walker, long ball out for Langley. Langley tries to go around the outside. He's tackled by Danny Moore in his opposite number. Whedon stabs the kick in. It's a good one. It's ricocheting everywhere. It's come off Priest, and that will be a goal line dropout. Or was it Mennell?
Well, it was a difficult kick whichever way. Buchanan put himself in the frame, didn't he? He knew that he was going to be close to the ball. And Batley, well, now having to survive at their end of the field.
It was Paul Mennell who got there. Well, Andy Kelly hoping that his side can turn this little period of dominance into something positive.
And that set by Dewsbury shows that if you run hard and you run into the collisions really tough, you can get that second phase rub because the players will bounce off you.
Austin Buchanan fields the restart. Skipping a step and then a clatter. And he's taken to ground. Maloney now. Maloney hurls himself at those Batley defenders. Look at that. The rain falling again. Here's Whedon. Whedon, a short ball, but that's great defence from Batley. Danny Moore in there as well. So is Mark Toohey. Toohey, of course, heavily involved since having to come on early doors in the place of injured Francis Maloney, and Toohey's done well for his side. Tim Spears with the tackle for Batley that time as Dewsbury go looking for the try that would close the gap. It was Finn who was close on, and then they go without it, and Lawford couldn't take that. He was stretching for it all the time, Lawford.
It's another example of the importance of the pass from acting out back. Even if your hooker's not there, you need players who can put it into the position that the catcher needs it. Lawford didn't get that. Didn't get the vital service on the last tackle.
The anger and the frustration evident there, and the actions of Dean Lawford after he'd lost that ball.
Can Dewsbury, though, turn that disappointment into a defensive effort to contain in tremendous rain, now raining at coming down here into the face of the Batley side.
Byron Smith takes the tackle, plays the ball. Ollie Marnes, a try on his return to the Batley Bulldogs.
Liam, 10 metres.
Plays the ball. Chris Lythe. Lythe finds Luke Stenchen, once of Leeds Academy Stenchen. Grand finalist with them, a grand final winner with them, in fact, in his academy days. Memorable game against St Helens. Meanwhile, more good work from Kane Apati that time. But Austin Buchanan it was. Langley. Tackled by Crowthers and Marnes. Whedon, Bretherton, Lawford, out wide with Bostock. Bostock trying to keep it alive, but it's snapped up by Farrell. Look at that rain, horrendous conditions now.
And that's the mistake Andy Kelly didn't want. When these forwards were taking a direct route, that's when they were ended up in Batley's 20. That time they tried to play around them instead of through them, and they come up with the error.
Byron Smith. Smith is tackled about 20 metres out. Crowthers put his foot to the floor. Still got a bit of pace at 32 years of age, Kevin Crowthers. Chris Lythe, and they've gone without the ball. Knock on
Take a knock on. Leave him.
Well, very difficult to take that pass in these conditions. Bulleted across the front of one player into the arms of Stenchen. But it bounces off his chest. You're probably not going to see many points in the remainder of this game, and you're certainly not going to see many long-range scores. I think the field position, and he needs a patience here now from Dewsbury in possession. This might take them 5 or 10 minutes to work their way upfield, contain their opponents, and get that opportunity to score and perhaps level the game.
Well, on a night like this, with the rain heaving down, it's hard to imagine a sunny May weekend in Cardiff, but that's hopefully what we've got to look forward to. May the 3rd, 4th weekend, when it's Millennium Magic in Cardiff, and there is the RFL information line, 0844 477 7113, 0844 477 7113. All the information you need about Millennium Magic. Batley Bulldogs have the ball back once again. And I wonder if that little spell of Dewsbury inspiration has evaporated. Whether they've just lost a bit of momentum, because it's Batley now threatening the Dewsbury line. It's a loose pass, picked up by Tui, and Farrell will go for the one-pointer, and he gets it. And that could be a crucial point from Craig Farrell, sweetly struck.
Chris, I keep getting you on the impulse.
And it puts his side 17 points to 10 ahead.
Well, it's a really good decision maker. When the play's broken down, the ball's gone on the floor, thrown back to you, to make that instant choice and think, listen, I'm going to go for the one-point kick. Left-footed player, it falls onto his perfect side. He's able to lean back, take his time, and it just about wobbles over the bar. Might only be 1 point, but it's one significant one in this game at present.
So it means the Dewsbury Rams have to score twice now.
And can Dewsbury do that, Bill? That's the doubt that they're putting in the mind now. The Batley team there, and he knew that if you come over that 1 point, a team that's lacking in confidence, do they have the ability and the belief in themselves to get back into this game and score twice?
Here's Byron Smith, bang! And that's a great tackle, and the ball has come up for Dewsbury. Could that be the moment that turns the game?
What a tackle by Trinder.
It was Aaron Trinder who really put his shoulder in there, and Maloney doing likewise.
2 feet, 2 feet. Wait, go.
Here is Whedon now. Whedon for Walker. Walker is
same again on the line.
Clattered by Kevin Crowthers. Trinder once more. Maloney. Dewsbury piling on the pressure. Liam Finn. They go down the short side and they've lost possession again. The ball slithering like a bar of soap. It was Bostock who just couldn't keep a hold of it. Juggling with it. Oh, come here. This must be agony for Andy Kelly.
Surviving on the line, wasn't it, there from the Batley team? They just had to get up and off it, try and buy a few metres, so that if they do hit you in the contact and go forward, you're still in the field of play.
Well, Craig Farrell looked as though he'd been landing drop goals like that ever since his days as an academy player with Hull. But in actual fact, that was the first drop goal of his career. And it could very well land his side with the 3 points tonight.
He's a 10, where's the foot? Go.
And will it be yet another bonus point for the bonus point experts, the Dewsbury Rams? Well, they've got 15 minutes to change that. Just inside their own half. With the Batley Bulldogs. Tui. Great kick pressure coming in from Walker, but they managed to get the kick away. It's fielded by Austin Buchanan. Buchanan clattered to the ground by Byron Smith.
You wonder whether it's almost worth Dewsbury kicking you early in this tackle count, because Batley's defensive effort is such well. Even after one, they've forced the ball free.
Well, the tackle was not a pretty one. And Batley have the ball back. It's with Byron Smith. Smith right in front of those Dewsbury posts. Crowthers now. Another one could wrap it up for the Batley Bulldogs. Tui is tackled just short of the try line. Byron Smith might fancy this himself. Trying to twist out of the tackle from Bryn Powell it was. Mennell. Great footwork from Mennell. Great try from the youngster. That will surely wrap it up. Paul Mennell with the try. Wanted first team rugby. He's got it at the Batley Bulldogs and he's justified it tonight. An outstanding performer. And Paul Mennell, great footwork in these conditions, and then again hurling himself to the ground to slither over the try line for the try that probably guarantees his side the win.
Well, he knows he owes some of this credit really to his teammates. Their effort in defence, Kevin King primarily in that tackle, forced the ball free, and then very much like Luke Robinson perhaps at Huddersfield, a short player close to the line, stepping back against the sliding defence, and then just going hard and low for the line, knowing that this further score would seal up victory for his team and delight his coach in the stands. Very good all-round performance from Batley, both with and without the ball.
King with the kick that would put this game even beyond a penalty point, a bonus point for the Dewsbury Rams, and King obliges. 23-10 now, the scoreline in favour of the Batley Bulldogs, and 21-year-old Paul Mennell with an outstanding try, and just showing Byron Smith there what's needed in these conditions. Keep a hold of the ball.
Good strength off him as well, because I think in Paul Mennell, not one of the biggest men on the pitch, but what he done was he knocked off one of the biggest men in Dominic Maloney in the collision, stepped off his right foot, knew where he was, come with a good try for his team.
12 minutes to go, and it looks as though the Batley Bulldogs are going to continue their good form, recent good form against the Dewsbury Rams. Won them both in the National League last season. And a great away form as well for the Batley Bulldogs. They've won 3 and drawn 1 of their last 5 away games. So they're travelling very well for Gary Thornton. Farrell finds Ollie Marnes, but Marnes has to come back in field very lively. Frustration now from the Dewsbury Rams, because this game promised so much for them early doors, but it's all gone pear-shaped.
Probably been the most patient the teams, haven't they, as Chris Live comes up with the ball.
And the enthusiasm evident there as well, as that kick from Mennell was charged down, but it was Batley that came up with the ball. And they're in possession now with Luke Stenchen, and Stenchen still going, and Stenchen will get a wonderful try in the rain for the Batley Bulldogs, and he was not going to be stopped. And the 22-year-old former Leeds Academy product just bulldozed his way through the Rams defence to get that try, his 3rd of the season. Well, that surely now settles the issue here at the Tetley Stadium.
Listen, attempted charge down on the kick, but again, Batley the first to react. Look at number 9 at the bottom of the screen. Wants to get to the ball first and does so. OK, he's tackled, but on the following play, the prop Stenchen does remarkably well. Offered so much time and space, he doesn't panic. He shows the ball to hang off a couple of defenders and then pushes hard through the gap. Just look, shows the ball out in front, 2 hands, bounced off 1 or 2 defenders, and then goes hard for line. One of a superb try from a front row who's worked hard tonight.
A bit of a step in there from a prop.
I think he might have tripped there, Bill. He's had a really big game, and he's been, along with Byron Smith, he's been absolutely fantastic in laying the foundations against the Dewsbury pack. I very much fancy Dewsbury pack against this Batley team.
And Kevin King, this to extend the Batley Bulldogs lead. And this should be another formality for him. He's kicked that one. He's virtually kicked it all the way to Dewsbury Town Centre. It's 29 points to 10 now in favour of the Batley Bulldogs, and they are going to have the bragging rights in this heavy woolen derby.
Well, he takes it to the line, doesn't it? Little show and go, and bang, bounced off 1, bounced off 2, carries Lawford over the line, and that's a good night's work for him. This game's all about having fun. He's put a smile on the coach, a smile on his teammates, and with less than 10 minutes to go, it looks like a job very well done.
Well, more action to come on Sky Sports. Sky Sports 1 tomorrow evening, 7:25 Friday. Castleford Tigers against Hull FC. And Super League Extra Time follows that. Just press the red button. And analysis and weekend previews as well in that half hour. And then on Saturday, Huddersfield Giants take on the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. 5:55, Sky Sports 2 and HD2. Buchanan fields that ball for the Dewsbury Rams, so they still wait for their first win of the season. Just the 2 bonus points for them. A frustrating time for Andy Kelly. He'd signed players, but he can point to a list of injuries that is on a par with those in the Super League, which have disrupted things, but he had quite a few of those players back tonight.
Well, what they need is a bit of confidence. They need a bit of a lift from somewhere, because they started off so well. When things start going against them, they've really started looking elsewhere, looking for that big play to break down this Batley side. And people like Dominic Maloney and Dean Lawford in the side, they'll be looking for them to come good in the next couple of weeks.
Ollie Marnes, a dream return for him to the Batley Bulldog side, and good run out of defence from Marnes.
Go, go. Second, hands out. Hold, go.
Fagboren. Well, there might have been those who saw his performance against Barrow last week and thought he might be susceptible to Dewsbury's kicking game, but he's held up well in the face of that tonight.
Well, any winger will look susceptible if he's stood in his own corner of the field and kicks keep raining down on him, and any winger will tell you that. You want to try and avoid that as much as you possibly can, and you be the one chasing kicks at the other end of the field.
Batley in possession on the 5th tackle. And Tui just kicks that one into the corner. Run the clock down. They're in control of this game. They don't need any late alarms. And this is the way to just keep a grip on the game for the Batley Bulldogs, and Gary Thornton will be a very happy coach.
Well, his team have provided fantastic entertainment in Rugby League for the last 2 weeks now. They can show they can do the tough stuff. They've got the skill when necessary. And there seems to be a great team commitment, team spirit amongst them, all wanting to work hard. Turning the things that you should do to compulsory jobs. You've got to put pressure on kicker. You've got to support the ball carrier. You've got to work hard at marker. They're making them must-dos rather than should-dos.
Finn, Bretherton, Glynn. Ryan Glynn, one of these young players coming through the Dewsbury ranks. Here's Patrick Walker. Oh, Walker balloons that ball out, and Lawford gets to it. Good hands from Ipati. It's Austin Buchanan, in fact, who put the kick in. Ipati chasing with him. Priest tackled on the halfway line. Here's John Simpson, and Simpson in the splodgy bit in the middle of the field. Tui. A tackle from Terry Glassy it was. Lindsay. And Lindsay is tackled. That's the 5th tackle. Crossfield kick, and Bryn Powell is underneath it. And Powell closed down by Ollie Marnes and by Anthony Henderson. The rain still falling. The crowd not going home, though. Another good Thursday night turnout despite these atrocious conditions. Here's Liam Finn. Finn. Tackled by Tui and by Craig Farrell.
Batley's willingness to close down their opponents and put them under pressure is probably the thing that's helped them to win tonight. And even when they were behind early in the scoreboard, Danny Moan's effort to put the kicker under pressure and then come up with the first try for Batley exemplifies their effort here. The commitment to put their opponents under the cosh whenever possible has helped them to win this game and win it comfortably.
Well, of course, these two sides meet again in 10 days' time in the Challenge Cup, in the next round of the Challenge Cup, and certainly Dewsbury supporters will be hoping for better from their side when it comes to that game. Andy Kelly's a very experienced coach,
2 feet on the line.
and he's got to try and lift his side after this performance. It looked so promising early on. They didn't look like a side that had lost their opening 3 games, but obviously confidence is a fragile thing when you're in this sort of position.
But that's it, Bill. When you do lose your first 3 games, like you're looking, and when you get in front, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to win the game, and then when you get behind, you're looking for that big play all the time, as we've seen. But Batley, look at the kick chase, the kick chase that they've come up with, the way that they wrestle the players in the tackle, and that's a fantastic tackle. That
Craig Farrell it was, confronting Kane Party. Bretherton has worked hard for his side, also found himself in the sin bin for 10 minutes, but nothing coming now. Lawford with the kick, Buchanan chasing it, and it's going to come up in the end for Patrick Walker, who just slithered his way across the field to gather that ball. Now Lawford, they've got the numbers out here on the left-hand side if they can get the ball out there. But even at this stage, with the game in the bag, that's willing work from the Batley Bulldogs to stop Kane Party, but they concede the penalty.
What wonderful hands, though, from Dewsbury. I know they didn't score in the corner, but they put it through 4 players quickly, out wide to a Party, and now they're just 10 metres in front of the post.
Can they at least get a morale-boosting compensation try here? They will do. Buchanan taking a leaf out of the Batley Bulldogs book and hurling himself over the line, gliding over the line to get the try. Austin Buchanan gets his 6th try of the season, but it's too little, too late. Walker will add the conversion. He does so successfully. 29-16 the scoreline. Bonus points still out of range at the moment for the Dewsbury Rams.
We saw the penalty for the interference. They'd shifted it to the left wing. Batley are just to have interfere, but not sure either way. The ball's come free. The referee's given them a penalty, and it's about getting your quick players against the bigger, slow players. Buchanan, possibly Dewsbury's best player tonight, does that, gets his hands on the ball, steps back inside, and then slides out for the line. In fact, he slides before it, knowing that his momentum and the surface will allow him to get over.
But they're still 1 point short of getting a bonus point. Can they get up the other end of the field and do that? So Bryn Powell manages to get a hold of that ball. Just 30 seconds left. Batley Bulldogs are going to take the win. Can Dewsbury get some consolation out of this game? I think time is against them now. It's going to have to be a kick chase if they're going to do that, or something adventurous down that left-hand side, but they've spilled the ball, and it's come up for Bolo Fagboran for the Batley Bulldogs, and they'll run the clock down now, and Buchanan in for the tackle. Bit of frustration there, maybe. Gareth Hewer quickly to the scene to have a look. Wipes the tackle count clean, and Big John Simpson takes the tackle. The final one of the game. Batley Bulldogs celebrates. Second win of the season for them, and against their arch rivals. It's been just as ferocious as anticipated. 2 players sin-binned, and no shortage of commitment for these 2 sides. We said when we were talking to Sky Sports News earlier on in the afternoon, Terry, we said, you know, you've got your Wigans and your Saints and your Hull and your Hull KR, but for these 2 communities, this is a big game, and this lived up to expectations.
This is the biggest derby as far as they're concerned, isn't it? There's that much desire, there's that much commitment and passion from the players that when they go out there, they want to have the bragging rights in the local town, and really the lads in the weather as well, Bill. It's been atrocious weather, but they've put on a good spectacle for the fans, haven't they?
Well, it's a win that will take the Batley Bulldogs up to 3rd place in the table. Heady days indeed for Gary Thornton's side, of course. A round of fixtures to come, and the situation may well change, but that's a great start to the season for these Bulldogs. Up to 3rd place in the table, a playoff place, obviously, what they're aiming for. And this, despite the fact that they lost the influential Francis Maloney early in the play as well.
And you're going to be looking now for that player that was going to lift them, who was going to come up with that something special. I've been really impressed with that Ash Lindsay. He's like the super sub, isn't he, of this Batley side, and the way he goes on, as well as Kevin King played well. Danny Moore putting him under so much pressure on the kick chase. And then you look at the front row of Chris Lyde, very, very inventive. Luke Stenchen and Byron Smith, who just took the ball forward, weren't afraid of taking it to this Dewsbury forwards, who were a lot bigger than they were.
Well, as the Batley players celebrate in front of their supporters below us here, the Dewsbury team are trooping off dejectedly on their own pitch, beaten pretty convincingly in the end, and they'll wonder about what might have been. 8-0 up to end up on the scoreline, on the end of a scoreline like this, 29-16. That's a major disappointment.
And they started really well. They just completed the sets. They put Batley under a bit of pressure where they were giving some penalties away. And then they were down in there, they were camped in Batley's half, they were coming up with the points, but it just all went away from. As soon as the Batley got the momentum, they were going forward, they were winning the play of the balls, they were winning the rucks. Everything seemed to go against them. Then the penalties started to come, trying to slow this Batley side down.
4 games now without a win. OK, they've got these 2 bonus points, but it's a tricky time for Andy Kelly, isn't it?
It is a tricky time, but as players as well, you've got to look from within, and you've got to put a bit of a mental on yourself. Where have I let myself down? Where have I let the team down? And you've got to look from within. And as a player, you've got to, and as senior professionals, you've got to go out there and try and do the right things and look for that inspiration. And they've got the players there, Bill. They've got the Dominic Maloney's, the Aaron Trinders, the Liam Finn, Austin Buchanan, who was really strong today.
Well, it's a victory for the Batley Bulldogs, a sweet night for their skipper, Craig Farrell. He's with Ben now.
Craig, the victory in the end convincing, but it was a real arm wrestle in that first half.
Yeah, it was a very tough game. Very pleased to get the 3 points. All credit to Dewsbury. You know, they made a great fight of it, but it was just great to come through the game and ensure that Dewsbury didn't get the bonus point as well, which was extra pleasing for us.
And the 1-pointer from you, crucial in the end. Have you been practicing them all week?
I had a go on Thursday, I think it was. Not Thursday, sorry, Tuesday. It's Thursday today. Knocked one over. It's the first one I've ever done in my career, so I'm 100% for that. And I've taken one conversion as well in my career, scored that, so I'm 100% with me kicking.
And how important was it that you'd put the points on the board before the conditions got so much worse in those closing stages?
Very important. As you could see, the play deteriorated a little bit. There was a lot of knock-ons, a lot of errors, and I think getting ourselves ahead before the conditions did deteriorate really played a big part for us.
And I know that you're looking forward to going to school tomorrow. The pupils that you've got, I mean, surely they should be doing homework at this time of night.
They probably should be. They probably won't be, though. I'd like to say a big hello to everybody at Graham School. Nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you all in the morning. I can brag about my drop goal, I think.
Well done, Craig.
Thanks very much.
We've got Gary Thornton, who's managed to change his clothes anyway. Gary, conditions not great out there, but a good win in the end.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, they put us under pressure for a bit in the first half. You know, went 8-0 down, and I thought we reacted really, really well. We mastered the conditions pretty well second half. I thought played some decent stuff and scored some good tries.
Yeah, you were 8-0 down in that first half, not panic stations, and then sort of equal going into the half-time break, but you really took it away from them in the second half. And how important was the drop goal from Craig?
Yeah, I mean, that just sort of put them 2 scores away from us, and we knew they'd come at us first 20 minutes were going to be very, very tough, and certainly it was. They threw everything at us, and I thought we handled it pretty well. Second half, I think we just sort of controlled the football a little bit better and played the field position a little bit better, and we're going to enjoy the win.
And I know it's early days, but it's a win that takes you level with Halifax in second place. That must please you as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You know, nobody ever gives Batley a chance, do they? I think we were 125-1 or something like that to win it. But we're always underdogs. We're always favourite to get relegated. And I'm just pleased for the boys that they've turned in another good performance. And we deserve to be in second place.
Thanks very much, Gary. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks to Kevin and the Hinnell Bulldog guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, Gary. Andy Kelly waited to talk to us. Andy, never easy to talk to us in defeat. But you do have the chance to put things right next week.
Yeah, I don't think you put things right. Next week's a cup game, this week we're a league game, and to be fair, I don't think we could have performed any worse. If we'd have coached a side to train and play that bad, I don't think we could have achieved as much as we did in the second half. The errors, the defensive effort, it was just below the standard for this division, let alone National League 2. So, I've got nothing positive from the second half. Thought we were competitive in the first, but where does that get you? It just gets you, a defeat.
Well, it must be heartbreaking for you because it was anyone's game at the interval. A couple of points in it and then didn't turn up in the second half.
Well, things we targeted in the first half, things we highlighted were the errors and the penalties. And I think the penalties probably dissipated a little bit, but the errors just escalated. And there's no way you can defend that kind of quantity of football and then still come back and be competitive in a game. We were foolish with the ball, and we got what we deserved. I can't argue against Batley. They were simple in the structure, and they completed the sets. And when there were chances to take, they took them and put us to the sword. And at the end of the day, we weren't good enough, and we've got to be honest about that.
And do you think the conditions were to blame? They were 7 points ahead before things got really worse. Was that the problem then, that you just couldn't get back into the game in those conditions?
No, they weren't the conditions. It's the skill of the players. If you want to keep turning the ball over and giving the opposition the ball, then they've got a right to use it and score and put you down. And that's exactly what Batley did today. And you know, like I say, it's just about being honest about how we've played, and we've played poorly. And it's not good enough for this division. And unless we start dusting ourselves up a little bit and being a little bit smart with the ball, playing simple sets and sticking to structure, then we're always going to find ourselves under the cosh. It's not good enough to make that quantity of error.
Andy, thanks very much for talking to us. Phil Clark's come down from the commentary box as well. Phil, local derbies, always passionate. We got a close contest in the first half, but in the second period, Batley really took it away from the neighbours.
No, I thought it was a great game of rugby league, wasn't it? And particularly in the conditions, we've seen over 45 points scored. And ultimately, whatever standard of rugby league you watch, whatever level or whatever age group, the team with the most commitment invariably go on to win. Occasionally there'll be an upset and a decision may go against the side. But I thought tonight, Batley's commitment was superior to that of the Dewsbury side, and was hence the reason why they went on to win. They ran stronger with the ball, they tackled with more aggression and vigour when they didn't have it, and despite the mistakes that either side made, that was the difference in my opinion.
It's only 3 years since Batley were fighting for their lives in National League One. Now they find themselves level in second place with Halifax. Do you think they can be up there come the end of the season?
Well, we don't get to see everything that goes on in and out of the weeks and the strength of the squad that Batley have, but I've been impressed in the last 2 games that we've seen on Sky Sports. Some of the rugby league they've played has been sensational, and the try they scored tonight from the scrum, swifting it out quickly to the left wing for Ollie Mans to score, was one of the best you'll see. My favourite type of rugby try, passed across the back line and the winger diving in at the corner, and with that style of rugby they'll always get my support.
So confirmation then of the victory for the Batley Bulldogs, 29 points to 16. A flying start for the Dewsbury Rams, 8-0 up. Langley's try getting them off to the best possible start. Buchanan, the last minute try, of course, and Patrick Walker with the 4 goals. But the Bulldogs really dominating the game as it went on. And Morn, Marnes, King, Mennell and Stenchen their try scorers. King with 4 goals, and that Craig Farrell drop goal, the first of his career. He'll be dining on that for a while. And as we've mentioned, the table looking very good for the Batley Bulldogs on the back of that result. They, of course, have played 1 game more than all the other sides, but that moves them up to 3rd in the table behind Halifax and the Salford City Reds. Sheffield Eagles 4th, Celtic 5th, Featherstone 6th, Lee 7th, and Dewsbury still down there in 8th place. Just the 2 bonus points to their name. So all round, a disappointing night for the Dewsbury Rams. They hoped so much for a big night here against their local rivals, and it really didn't turn out that way, and it never looked, Terry, like turning out that way. Once the Batley Bulldogs got their game together, they got to grips with it in the first half, and certainly in the second half they were the dominant force.
Apart from the first 10 minutes that Andy Kelly's already said that he was very, very disappointed with the way they kept turning the ball over and coming up with the simple errors constantly, and the players have really got to look at themselves there, and there's a lot of ownership on the players that they've got to put it right. There is only them that can put it right, and it's got to start on the training field and looking from within.
And by contrast, there looks to be great confidence in this Batley Bulldogs side.
Yeah, we've seen 2 weeks on the run now, haven't we, on Sky Sports, and they were fantastic. Going up to Barrett, a very, very tough place to go up there and to get a win. And here we just see that Chris Lyde, he's had a massive game, just getting out from acting halfback, popping a simple ball there to Kevin King. Next we see Farrell there, just positioning himself out wide, a left foot over there. Wasn't the prettiest of drop goals, but it got the right result. It got the 1 point, and that was that took him really to that next few points ahead. Next, Paul Mennell steps off his right foot, knocking off Dominic Maloney, going under the sticks. The pressure there. Chris Lyde coming up with the ball, look, from chasing the kick pressure, coming up with the ball. Next, he goes to the play of the ball, and it's Stenchen. Luke Stenchen showing great strength here. Look at the way he goes into the collision there, powering through 1, 2, 3, 4 tackles, diving over. Looks very happy. And then this, the last try, come off a penalty for interference. Austin Buchanan just showing really good footwork to dive over, but consolation try, Bill. The game was gone, wasn't it?
Significant thing in terms of some of the performers. They've seen Paul Mennell, big game. Luke Stenson. They're players who haven't quite made it, or maybe not had the opportunity to make it with other clubs. The Bulls, Leeds Rhinos academy players. They've come to clubs like Batley, and they're determined that they're going to make a name for themselves, albeit at this level.
Well, this National League is littered with skill, isn't it? The amount of players that Chris Lythe, I thought he showed up really strong. Byron Smith, the way he was taking the ball on. Aaron Trinder, against Aaron Trinder, I thought he was fantastic, Byron Smith. And that's where they won the game in the forwards tonight.
I thought you were a bit harsh on Luke Stenson. It wasn't a trip. That was definitely a sidestep. You just don't want to give credit.
I'm only jealous because I could never step like that. Plus, as well, he knocked off 4 players and went over the... I thought he was fantastic tonight. The whole of the Batley part they showed no... they just really showed no respect, did they, whatsoever for the Dewsbury forwards. You thought the Dewsbury forwards were going to take them on up the middle of the pitch, but they didn't. They tried to play around them, and that's where they really suffered, because they should have tried to play through them.
Well, it's not been a bad night for Batley then. They get the points here. They've come up with a pretty good draw as well in the quarterfinals of the Northern Rail Cup. We saw that at half-time here on Sky Sports. And Featherstone Rovers play the Salford City Reds. Batley Bulldogs at home to Oldham. That should be a tasty game. Celtic Crusaders against Widnes, another big one. And Rochdale against Doncaster, an all National League 2 game. I think we've gone for Featherstone Rovers against the Salford City Reds. That'll be the game live on Sky Sports. Not a bad game, that one.
No, a fantastic game, and Salford are the team that are on fire at the minute. Celtic against Widnes is going to be another big clash, and there's clashes all over. Rochdale have showed up really well, early season form, but it's going to be a big clash. Featherstone will be up for the game against Salford. In front of the cameras, they'll really raise the game for that.
Tomorrow night, 7:25, Sky Sports 1 and HD1, the Castleford Tigers against Hull FC. That's on 7:25, followed by Super League Extra on the red button, and then on Saturday, Huddersfield Giants against the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats at 5:55. But here, it's been National League action, and the Batley Bulldogs have come up with the points with their victory over the Dewsbury Rams in this big local derby.